We take pictures. Some are shy, they don't want to take pictures. I love you all. Thank you for coming out to support me. They've been looking for Alaja in the store. Say, when is the Alaja coming to sell more, you know? So I'm really grateful to God, and it's just opening my eyes to see maybe I'll likely get a physical store. But I'm still at Hall 1, number 12, booth 12. Come and buy. We are selling everything on sales. Yeah, I don't want to go home with any product.
Yeah, you won't do it. You won't. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, no wahala.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
How you doing?
What you do? So yesterday, my kids, both of them said there was open day today, and I said, okay, we didn't do Teachers' Day gifts, so I'll try and come, but just tell Daddy to send money. And then they said, and it's Entrepreneurship Day. We have the cycling groups. And the last one I went, I spent 39,000.
Jesus.
Their school, they teach them this entrepreneurship. So there are groups, they will make, some people are doing fish farming, some people make designs for a house, and you must shop from all the groups. Yeah. Dragging you. Go friend, tell your mommy to come. I said, my last experience was not good. So I guess
it's really practical.
For Imran, you know, he's now 6, he's in basic 1, and he's feeling somehow. He had begged me, Mommy, please do not try not to show up. And then this morning, he thought I won't go to work. As I drove out of the house, he jumped up and started crying and called me on the phone. You promised me. You said you were going to come. The last time you came, it was after Sawat. I said, Imran, please. I stayed on the phone begging until I got into the tankers. Wow. Usually, I would have found a way to check on the map and diverted. I got stuck in the tankers and it just wasn't funny, but if I dare not show up in school today,
you have to.
The matter will not finish.
How are you doing, Tokwe?
I'm very good.
How is the business community in Nigeria?
International, please.
Interesting. Yesterday I did a class on Instagram, and I calculated it for people, the benefits of how cash is trash, and how if you changed your money. If you keep your money as an asset, is better, you know. So we broke down the opportunities and the challenges, and I made it as practical as possible, because many times we make emotional investment decisions because everybody's doing this, you go that way.
Yeah.
So my conversation was, don't make an emotional decision with your investment, understand the numbers, do your investigation, and calculate, you know. So that was basically, but today, this morning, my kids are doing one practical in class. They are doing parfait, so as I woke up in the morning, it's yogurt, granola, this one. My son, oh gosh. You know, children know how to get you. They will just be whining and they will school
they get what they want.
Mommy, did you give me the granola? Mommy, have you bought the yogurt? We are taking each day at a time, grateful to God.
Yes, so how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm grateful to God also. You know,
I saw your videos. You were just partying all through the weekend.
Oh, this weekend. Oh, I ate. Oh, yikes, I ate. My brother took me out on Friday night. I think Friday night we did a movie night with my new community. So we call ourselves Housewives of MW.
Aisha will not come to that.
I'm
beefing you already.
So all hanging out. So we all had a movie night. Everybody brought some chicken, some popcorn. We had a nice night. And Saturday my brother took me out. Then Sunday, Brent Femi's the quarters boys from Ile Ife. They did some kind of hangout thingy. I think I could called my friend. But please follow me.
Just so I won't be the only one.
They just drown me in the you just. So I went with them, and those night the food was great.
You tell me where. I need somewhere where we can.
Mainland. No, there's mainland. I'll tell you, mainland. Mainland was fantastic. Okay. And then my in-laws are coming over the week for the holidays. I'm so excited.
Wow.
You know,
they've been around for a while.
It's going to be great Christmas. I'm pretty excited about this Christmas. Lots of spending of money. Father help me. But let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View.
Soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy eSplash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day.
Boycott future debates. Nobody can break our ranks, Wike or Tom Makinde insists. Abuja-Kaduna rail service resumes this month. CJN to election tribunal judges, don't be reckless. COP27, United Nations unveils $3 billion plan to achieve early warning systems. I will reclaim my mandate, says Governor Oyetola. Okay, which story are we starting with in the nation?
Labour Party. Yeah. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, has said he will not attend the debate if his counterparts in other parties do not show up. Remember the debate, the town hall meeting that was organized by Arise TV. And this was said by the Director General of the Obi Dati campaign organization, Doyin Okukwe. He said that while he was addressing a newsman yesterday in Abuja. And he said it's very unfair that we've had the vice presidential candidates representing their principles. And if they are not going to get their house in order, make sure that at every town hall meeting, everybody will come and go through a debate, that he will not be presenting himself, that he's ready to do the debate, but he has to do it with his counterpart and not surrogates and vice presidential candidates, and that's how it's going to be. So he's setting the pace on that. If they are ready to have a conversation, everybody must come out in full and have a proper conversation.
I think that's a fair deal. It makes sense.
I agree with you.
You can't have a town hall meeting. And
then it's just one presidential candidate.
Okay, so I have the story. So nobody can break our ranks. Wike Motom Makinde insists. So they're calling themselves the G5. And 5 governors who are insisting that Senator ASUU must step aside at the PDP. The PDP delegate, they were actually all in autumn. They insisted that there was an agreement that ASUU would resign once a northerner emerged as the presidential candidate. It's still an issue within the PDP. And these 5 governors, that's Oyo, Abia, Rivers, Benue, and I think one more state. There's one more state. And they're all insisting that he has to step aside. They said that the crisis rocking the party might get messier if they don't quickly get it resolved, and this is not good for the coming elections because Atiku needs all the support he can get. I mean, I'm really feeling bad for the guy now that all his main guys, all his allies are now leaving him, but he needs them for the elections to actually, because the governors are saying that their followers would not support him if he doesn't make a change concerning the chairman of the party. Okay.
So the CJN yesterday swore in and started the training session for members of the tribunals who will determine all election petitions following the 2023 elections. And he used the opportunity to beg them to comport themselves with utmost care and dignity, saying that they should not be reckless and that they should be guided to, to understand our new season. Election petitions have limitations. They should be answered with the carefulness. Sharp was emphasizing that carefulness. The chairman, INEC, was also there, and he used that opportunity to decry the endless litigations against INEC that continue to impede their activities. So INEC might want to take one decision. One person is in court, sometimes Serap, I don't want to say Serap, but they are all the time taken to court over every step, even though there are laws backing them. And I agree with the
INEC stopping their work.
Yes, so
it's Serap should take a break. That's what they're saying in Nigeria. Okay, any other story in the nation?
Yes, I was going to take the governor of Osun State saying, I will reclaim my mandate. He didn't say it like that, but he said, I will reclaim my mandate. He lost the election in July 16th for Osun State to the PDP, and his conversation was that he was speaking in Abuja yesterday at the National Secretary. He was speaking in Abuja, and he said that Osun State has always been a progressive state, and that Osun would deliver 1 million votes for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I wonder how that math would work, because according to the last election that was conducted in July, 403,000 votes went for PDP, and APC, that's Governor Oyetola, got 372,000 votes. So how would he now deliver 1 million votes? But that's his promise. He also mentioned that he has taken the case to court, and he's sure that his mandate would come to him, saying that there was overvoting in a few polling units, and there was a bypass of the bimodal voters accreditation system, BVAS, of the INEC, which is supposed to detect fraud. So if they bypassed it and there was confirmed overvoting, he feels his mandate will come to him. The case is in court, and we're waiting what the tribunal will say.
Moving on to the Punch, 2023 elections, INEC laments tough times. Day 139, daughter in court, Igwerimadu still imprisoned. LASMA can't arrest motorists on roads without signs, says Commissioner. Low enrollment, migration flooding hurts Ogun village schools. Small suspense as ASUU ESCO meeting runs into midnight. Why North is wrong about restructuring, says Eziefe. Bauchi governor demands Atiku's apology. Terror, UK wants citizens to avoid 22 states. Okay.
So the United Kingdom has advised its citizens against traveling to 22 states in Nigeria. And they said they had a press release by the British High Commission. They titled it Updated Foreign Commonwealth Development Office Travel Advice to British Nationals Traveling to the FCT. And in that, they said one of the reasons they're doing this is to help their nationals make better judgments and informed decisions whenever they are traveling. So the statement read, FCDO travel advice exists to inform British nationals so that they can make decisions about traveling abroad. There continue to be a number of states in Nigeria where we advise British nationals against all but essential to travel. And they mentioned some of the states, Bauchi, Kano, Jigawa, Niger, Sokoto, Kogi, Abia, Plateau, Taraba, within 20 kilometers of the border with Niger and Kebbi State and non-riverine areas of Delta, Bayelsa, and River State. When I saw all the states, there were other states mentioned like Borno, Yobe, Adamawa. Exactly. So they should just say, don't come to Nigeria at all. But these threats that they have been constantly warning their people, I'm not seeing that. We are living in some of these states, and I'm not seeing that, so I don't know.
Okay, so I was going to take the story.
Yes, Bauchi, one of the states that they've said there's a lot of threats going on there. The governor of Bauchi, Senator Bala Mohammed, has said that he has issues with the flag bearer of PDP, said that he was appointed the PDP Presidential Campaign Council Vice President, and that he's been sidelined, and he's going to teach the presidential candidate is going to teach the presidential candidate a lesson because he's been sidelined. So we collect May 28th. The primaries took place within the PDP, and Atiku won by over 300 votes, while Mr. Senator Bala Mohammed got 20. But he wrote the letter now to the party chair. The controversy around Ayub aside, that if Atiku does not come and apologize to him, he is going to teach Atiku a lesson. There's so much going on.
I mean, this is just one guy, Atiku. I mean, come on, man.
There's a whole lot.
This guy has an election to win.
He
has an election with me. It was just cut his
He has an election to run. He cannot even start
he has an election to run.
So much.
Anyways, there was a meeting. There was an interagency consultative committee on election security in Abuja yesterday, where the chairman of INEC was saying that they had the floods have run about 20 of the INEC buildings, and they're having issues in having those buildings rehabilitated in time for the elections. According to him, also they're having issues with the destruction of INEC equipment, and also as a result of the NSAS that happened a while back, and also the activities of unknown gunmen in the southeast. So they're having issues with the facilities and the equipment, and they're asking for, obviously they need funds to get these things done before the election start. According to him, INEC is assessing loss of materials to attacks within the preliminary assessment, indicating that 11 offices, 1,105 ballot boxes, 694 voting cubicles, 429 electric generating sets, and 13 utility vehicles have all been lost and some destroyed. That's a lot of stock to get replaced before February. I don't know how they're going to do it, but that's part of what the chairman was saying to the committee yesterday at the meeting. Any other story?
So I wanted to take the Commissioner for Information in Lagos
State.
Saying that he cannot believe that, or that LASMA cannot arrest motorists on roads without signs. And he said that he cannot believe the allegations or causing speculations that Lagosians are saying that some officials remove the road signs, and then when you go in, they arrest them and pull back the signs or something like that, that he doesn't believe it. He thinks that there are mere speculations because people cannot, they have never pointed out one official who did that to him. So Lagosian, your new assignment, any official you catch, if you have a car cam, or what do you call it, the camera in your car, or you can catch them on your phone. That's your new assignment, because our commissioner doesn't think that this happens, but
nobody knows about it. Think about it.
Wow.
They tell you, they removed it and put it back. You didn't see them. It's all hearsay. They said, she said.
Right.
No.
Listen.
That's not it.
Let us be clear.
Okay.
You see, I've never seen one person remove a sign and put it back.
No, I've not seen.
Many of us, they say it. Somebody say, I don't mind them. Well, last one, they removed the sign, they put it back.
Right.
We have not. What I think he's saying.
Can I land my point so you understand better? No, what you're defending is unnecessary.
I'm not defending.
Okay, what you're trying to explain is unnecessary. So if there's a one-way here and there's a last mile official there, your duty is to be, just as we said to the road safety official yesterday, at the beginning of that road and say, that's a one-way, you can't go.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yes.
So a person is trying to turn, you say, no, continue, one way. That's your duty as an official, not to go and lay sage. And the person misses the sign or they don't see the sign. Most times, there are no signs. When, the day before my dad died, I was in such a situation in Yaba.
No, so
we're not arguing that.
You're doing a different thing. I am focusing on what this man said.
Which is
if you don't see a sign, listen, there are two.
If you do not see a sign, it's not there.
There are two different things.
Yes.
What you said is valid. What I'm saying is that if you don't see a sign, they're saying they're accusing somebody of removing a sign.
Because he wants to arrest
Because of arrest. So the man is saying, if you have not seen, which is not true.
If you see them
I want
removing
them
the
to
sign,
explain. Can I use this situation to explain?
I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm just saying that what this man is saying.
Let me just explain.
So
you go into the road and then you turn back and say, even Google was saying there was, and I didn't see the sign. And then you say, madam, there's a sign now. And suddenly there's a sign. I'll be like, this sign wasn't there earlier. You missed it. Pack.
It's different from when somebody picks up.
Who put back the sign that wasn't there earlier?
Good question. Very good question. But how would you assume is an officer that removed it and put it back?
Because the officer is the one that did there.
Let's go on a break.
Let's move.
I don't want us to talk like the average man. I don't want us to talk like the average man on the street.
Carry out reports.
You must you've experienced it.
No. What I'm saying is that we must speak above what people say on the streets. If on the street, they will remove it. We shouldn't be talking like that.
It's been
we should leave that point.
Been commenting
and be speaking like a real proper thing. If I don't see an official remove an official, and I would not project my Nigerian police as removing a sign or my Nigerian last man. I wouldn't do that. I want to have evidence of that before I make it up. That's the point I'm trying to make. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
And dramas from Nolly, Bali, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy eSplash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice.
Television just got real. Real stories, real emotions, real anger, real love, real tears, real lost. Television.
We're going to move on now to Daily Sun. Major crisis looms in Atiku campaign. Insecurity, flooding threat to food, economic growth, and defense, says Mr. Defense Minister. Troops wreak havoc in Abuja, in Abia community. We'll have here over alleged missing soldier. Insurgency, military operations yielding positive results, says NSA. I'll not condone act of recklessness. CGN wants 2023 election tribunal members. Ekweremado's UK trial now to hold January 2023. Obi won't participate in further mixed debate, says campaign council. Tinubu to farmers, you return to your farms. Climate change, Bill Gates Foundation pledges $1.4 billion champions protection for small-scale farmers. Abuja Kaduna train service back this month. Government denies anti-Southeast agenda on narrow gauge rail project. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, Tinubu met with the presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, met with the farmers in Mina yesterday, and I love the fact that, you know, he went to a select group of people to, you know, to establish what his manifesto would be like and how it affects them. He talked about, let me quote him, he said, "I sympathize with you who have been victims of the flood ravaging the country, and will be on your side to implement all our programs and keep your promises, our promises to you farmers. You are the lifeblood of the nation, and we guarantee you to be our brothers' keepers." And he says that the Bank of Agriculture will be positioned in such a way to give farmers access to loan, to, you know, to boost local production. And he talked about how access to loan will also be given to those in animal husbandry business to also boost local production. They are looking to increase local production and curb importation of food and exploitation through improved farming activity. Export through improved farming activity. So we are looking at local production and export of locally produced farm foods outside the country. This, for me, is a major goal. If we are diversifying, let's diversify properly. Let's diversify properly and grow our economy. And also looking that, you know, his administration further looks into local production to producing complex products, processing and all of that, so that we're not just
packaging, manufacturing,
raw materials.
Yeah, amazing. So soldiers of 14th Brigade, Nigerian Army, or Hafia, Abia State, were reported to have on Thursday last week invaded Amangu community in Ohafia local government area of over alleged missing of a soldier on leave. They said over 10 people were allegedly killed, 50 houses reported to have been razed down because of this. And according to the story, they said this particular soldier was on leave, and so he decided to visit his village, Ikun, in Cross River State. And on his way, allegedly, he got missing. They say he got missing between Amuma, Ohafia, and Amangu, about 3 kilometers away from Amangu. And in the search process, these soldiers, you know, barged into the village and started, you know, shooting sporadically into the air. They were going into houses, dragging people out, taking them away. Some of them, they are still missing till this moment. They were invading, you know, taking things, properties, destroying everything. And the village has been, like, a lot of people have been running helter-skelter. Businesses were not able to hold. One particular woman said she was coming back to visit her husband, to bury her husband that died. She wasn't able to go into the village to take the corpse. You know, people ran away from their businesses, and everything is just in disarray. I want to hear what the state government is saying about this at this moment.
Anyway, we have news from the National Security Advisor, still within the military, that they are recording positive results from the onslaught against insurgency. He was speaking at the annual conference for defense advisors and attaches in Abuja. Major General Babagana Mugunu mentioned that he listed the major challenges that the military is battling, which is insurgency, terrorism, secessionist, illegal oil bunkering, banditry, kidnapping, cattle rustling, amongst others. And he said that the Northeast as well as the Northwest has recorded major calm in the challenges they've been facing, that we could also clearly see evident in the mass surrender of terrorists and sympathizers, particularly in the Northeast, that it shows that the military is strengthening its resolve in bringing peace to most parts of Nigeria.
Okay, moving on to Vanguard. 2023 White Tinubu won't attend debate, says Keyamo. Worst floods coming next year, says federal government. We work like elephants, eat like ants, says Lagos bus drivers. 2023 poll. Over 600 cases in court against INEC, says Yakubu. ICPC probes 712 projects in 20 states, begins disposal of forfeited assets. 5 years in office, Akeredolu, Jegede disagree on performance. PDP crisis. Why Atiku won't have my support, says Otom. Terror alert. UK drops warning against travel to Abuja. Insists risks remain. Train attack. FG set to resume Kaduna Abuja service. And ASUU have salary payment, but the bailiff sues for peace. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The train, Kaduna-Abuja train corridor, you know what happened in March, and services were suspended. But now the Minister of Transportation, Muazu Jaji Sambo, announced in Abuja yesterday that they are about to resume business on that track. And he says that the government has learned many lessons from what happened and also adopted many measures to make sure that they prevent future attacks and give the customers a sense of security. So he said they promised that they were not going to resume till all the passengers had been rescued, and finally all the passengers have been rescued. But now one of the things they are going to be doing is that they are going to provide 24-hour security monitoring system to ensure constant real-time surveillance, and also pray to God that this kind of thing will not happen again because they've learned lessons from the attack. Now, aside from the constant surveillance, a constant monitoring on daily basis, weekly, monthly, as each train leaves and returns, and that will be possible to ensure that there is a smooth flow and passengers are safe.
I hope that gains trust for passengers. But DG NEMA, the National Emergency Management Authority, while appearing before the Senator Yusuf led Senate Committee on Special Duties to defend the 2023 budget, said that another flood is coming in 2023, and he's using the opportunity to ask the Senate and the other lawmakers to help them appeal to state governments. They say that they've been sending letters to state governments. They've written to them even to prepare for the rains which failed and affected most states in 2022. That 2023 will be bigger, and the state government need to start to set up state emergency management and local emergency committees and fund those committees adequately to prepare for the rains. I'd like to use the opportunity to add my voice to say that state governments should start to use ecological funds given to them to dredge their canals and prepare for the rains. I have seen it work in Lagos that people prepare for the rains. If rain is coming, you dredge your water channels and clear them and prepare for the rain so that you can avert floods and worse damages and loss.
When we talk about flooding, we talk more about the agriculture, but UNICEF released reports that the flooding has also heavily affected school enrollment. Many children are not going back to school because they can't get to the school. The schools are flooded and
roads are even washed off. In Bayelsa, for instance, roads have been washed off. So the loss is too huge for us to not prepare. So save money.
Okay, that's all we can take on the front page review. When we come back, we want our hot topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. You will be right back.
The best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy eSplash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice.
Have you ever wondered?
Thanks for staying with us. The federal government has said that there was no bias in the payment of salaries to members of the Academic Staff Union of Nigeria, ASUU. The government pointed out the members of ASUU were paid their October salary pro rata and not half salary. as reported. A statement by the head of Press and Public Relations, Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment, Olajide Oshundun, explained a prorata was done because they cannot be paid for work that they didn't do. What are your thoughts on this? Should the federal government pay ASUU for the 8 months that they did not work? That's from February to October. What are your thoughts on this? Do you believe that the federal government should pay them regardless of the fact that they didn't work, or they shouldn't pay them because they didn't work? You can call us 081-270-53687, 091-390-7694. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Now, this is becoming more controversial because it seems like the federal government plans to pay KONUA, which is now the new organization, the new union that's been formed recently, that was recently approved. And though there were no students to be in schools, but the argument is professors or the lecturers don't always just teach. They also research. They do their papers. So there's so many stuff that's still ongoing that is not just about teaching in the classroom. So what are your thoughts? Do you think the federal government should pay, or do you think their payment could set a precedence of, it's okay, you can go on strike? What are your thoughts on this? Please call us on the numbers on your screen. BC, you'd like to go first on this?
Yes. So I always knew that at the end of the day, the students will be at the receiving end of this. Because right now, nobody's thinking about the students' well-being. I know ASUU has stayed off from work for 8 months. Now they want to come back. And the argument is they are going to jam-pack everything they had lost. Students will now begin to do crash courses, take examinations, and so that they can mop up the time lost. You know, everything will be crashed. And I am worried about that because we have always sat here to complain that most times we have half-baked students. It's not about jam-packing the whole thing that they have lost. The time frame. There's a time frame in curriculum that when you teach, there's an expected time for assimilation, for understanding. They're not putting that into consideration. You want to come and rush the whole work so that you can get your pay. I think it's unfair on the students. And what we have is everybody's doing crash courses. We're reading to pass. You graduate from school and you can't remember anything that you have read. That is not the kind of education we're looking forward to. So I would have said, since all of us are tightening our belts, we want the revitalization funding to be done. We want to be able to have proper infrastructure, lecturers paid properly. Can't we all suffer this and move the session? So don't crash it. Don't put it together. Students need time to assimilate and understand. We have lost this session. We repeat that session so that students will have their ample time. So now you're just, because you want to get the money, you're just jam-packing everything. It's annoying to me. I really don't like that.
Let me come to you,
I think that conversation should go in that line.
Because I think what I thought Bisi was saying earlier was the fact that kids have lost 8 months.
Yeah.
And you as a lecturer, you decided that you have to go on strike to make a point. You're going to make the sacrifice to get out of the classrooms and to insist that government does what it's supposed to do. Now that you've somehow reached a compromise, you're hoping that they can help you cover your lost grounds by paying your 8 months salary. So who's going to cover the lost grounds for the students who have lost 8 months of their learning? What are your thoughts on this?
You see, this ASUU and federal government issue, there are no winners. There are no winners, and I hope ASUU has that at the back of their mind. The students certainly are the losers here. But, you know, between the federal government and ASUU, they should just, you know, compromise on both sides. No winners, really. The Minister for Labour insisted that as soon as ASUU wrote to them that they have resumed following the Court of Appeal decision, he has directed that the Ministry of Finance resume payment of salary, then done on ratings of prorata that's based on number of days that they can attest to this, from the suspension. ASUU has done the calculation to say, no, they are paying us half-half. But they are saying, no, we're not paying half-half, it's even worsening the situation. You know, I love that the Speaker of the House of House of Reps mediated in this matter and tried to find a balance. And I think it's still the only sense of reasoning between both parties now. They should quickly stem any provocative words used at this time. On the part of ASUU, I love their doggedness, but at this point, there are no winners. There has to be a compromise.
Yeah.
If federal government is saying their hands are tied, finances are tough and all of that, ASUU, your goal was to establish that, you know, certain things be given to the university educational system in Nigeria. There should be investment and improvement of infrastructure in these schools, and as well as increase in salaries. And all of this have been agreed on. What has passed has passed. Can we leave what we have, you know, lost in the past? And if they are giving you something to even buffer it, can you just take it and let us move on? Because really, if you ask federal government to start this argument, on will no work, no pay, they have laws. That's why the National Industrial Court did not back ASUU on this. And they went on appeal, they lost their appeal. So it is not, there are laws that, you know, that they can stand on. Can we just find a middle ground?
Let me come to you, because it goes back to the Nigerian story, me, myself, and I. You know, I'm going to fight because sometimes all the hustle, all the struggling, all the human rights. Yes, let's fight. If you dig deep, it's myself. It's not about Nigeria. I'm not fighting for the children. I'm not fighting for the Nigerian youth. It is my pocket. Because that's what we're seeing. Like, at the end of the day, after all that noise, it is about pay us back that 8 months with lot. Or do you think it is their right to get that salary?
Okay, so human nature is inherently selfish. We are meant to protect ourselves. That's why we are still surviving. So there's really nothing bad in trying to preserve yourself. Okay. I am all about investment. I'm always teaching on this. So yesterday I was explaining that investment is taking pains in this season because of the hope of a better future. So you have invested, ASUU has invested 8 months in fighting for a better future, not just for themselves, for the students, for future lecturers, for the future of university education in Nigeria. It is an investment of 8 months. Oga, you will not get paid, but it is the price you paid. You are paying it, and you must pay it with pride. Don't let your the hunger of what you've gone through take away the suffering that you've gone through and rob you of the investment and the assets that you should get in future. You have paid the price. This is the price you pay. Strikes will continue to happen if nobody suffers any pain from this, if only the students are suffering. So if strike happens, the students miss out school time, they have more years to spend in university. ASUU loses money, is part of it. Yeah. But you achieve your goal. When people are fighting, the struggle we're seeing in developed countries, everywhere we go to where we see people, the democracy we have today, people died for it. You know, people must be willing to understand that I will make this sacrifice for the greater good. So here's my own. ASUU, you have made an amazing sacrifice. I am happy a lot of children are back in school. Don't water down the huge activity that you have done by being petty with how much back and forth. Stay your ground that all the promises be fulfilled. All the monies they will give for capital investment into the education sector, all of them should come through. That should be the goal, not on how much they should pay previously. Please, let's move forward.
Let me go on a break. When we come back to take a few phone calls and hear from the viewers, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right.
And the ability to go live anywhere, anytime. We are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for
think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Come close. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's Your View. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss it.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Business and meetings are always on the go.
Fun time with the family. Thank you to IVM Kingdom. IVM carries always stealing the show. Isn't she beautiful? Influence defines a great leader. IVM Seriki is Africa's commute king. Strong, reliable, and durable. With the concept of regionalization, Innocent Vehicle is committed to satisfying its customers with producing their everyday dream cars.
IVM, pride of African roots.
Children are gifts and the source of joy. But when they are down with sickness such as malaria, we become sad and worried. Not to worry, Camosinate anti-malarial for children has always been there for years. Camosinate also comes in tablets for adults. Bounce back from malaria with Camosinate. Read the leaflet inside. If symptoms persist after 3 days, please consult your doctor. Camosinate, effective anti-malaria for all ages. Marketed by Zenith Pharmaceuticals Limited.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing ASUU, and the issue is, should they be paid for the 8 months that they were on strike? We'd like to hear from our viewers. You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-270-5666 53687-091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. BC.
Yes, so I want to remind us that he that must come to equity must come with clean hands. I've spoken on the side of the government that I don't think ASUU should get the money that they have not worked for. However, this October, they should have been paid full salary. Do you understand? It's not everything that you open your mouth wide to explain. There are some things you just make that consensus here and make the consensus. A few weeks ago on this table, we're talking about pensions of ex-governors, people who just served 4 years, 8 years. These lecturers are giving their lives. They have their counterparts in other countries. They know what they are earning, but they are here and they are helping students. There are some things you just let it slide. If you had paid, though they resumed on the 18th or so, you had paid full salary, then we'll understand that the sacrifices of 8 months has gone. We're starting afresh. We have loopholes in the government system where people are eating money. Our members are human beings. They have bills to pay. The government should have considered that. We can say, okay, we can give you some. We can pay out this one, but you have to forfeit this one. You just meet them somewhere. You don't just stand your ground, make up your mind and say suffer. Meanwhile, you that just serves for 4 years, 8 years, you for life. The taxpayers' money will be taking care of you, getting you new cars, drivers and all that. Please now, let's be sensitive.
Let me take this call from Solomon. Solomon, are you there? Thanks for calling. You're live from K2. Go ahead.
I just want to go to
yes. Go ahead.
I think we lost it.
Oh, we lost that call.
Okay, so
yes,
I
Nima.
wanted to say that if we are doing things legally, let's know we are doing it legally. If ASUU is in court or the federal government is in court and they're sticking to what the law says, let them do that. But if they're following the mediation that the Speaker of the House of Reps is doing for them, then they must always balance things. If you're doing justice, you cannot wipe one child's head and wipe one child's head. Why would federal government at all even let somebody suggest that Conwa is going to be paid full salary in the schools that ASUU shut down? Let's assume that Conwa was coming to school every day. Where were the students that they were teaching? If lecturing was what they were supposed to be paid for, even if it's for researches, most of the lecturers who were members of ASUU were at home were continuing their researches because most of them were, of course, maybe doing it abroad, with schools abroad. But if Conwa is to be paid and they are going to be paid full salaries, they should be paid along the same salaries with ASUU.
But it goes back to what BC was saying, that you see, when we are trying to fix, we are solution conscious. You know, to fix a problem. You see, we understand government wants to do carrot and stick, but there's some times where, you know, listen, I'm trying to put palliatives in for ASUU. I'm trying to bring them back to say, you know, we are here for you. When you have a government that is leading, not ruling. But I keep hearing people talk about the rulers. We've passed that level of rulers. We need leaders in government who are saying, okay, 8 months, you're done. Just like you said, October salary, I'll pay you full salary.
It's not even that. He's thinking for the greater good.
Aha! Thank
What's
you so
the
much.
greater good here?
Yes.
Do you want another set of few weeks to negotiate the challenges of half salary? Why don't we, you know, if we say that we want the greater good, we've gotten these children back into, and it's because the government, there's no consequence on the government side, you know. The government has put in consequences for ASUU in that you don't get paid when you don't work. There's a law backing it. The students are suffering. There's no lecture. They spend an extra year. What is the government paying for this? If governments if they know that I might lose my re-election bid, you see the American elections, you know, they have midterm. So everybody is working because they know that midterm election, I might lose my seats. When government realizes the direct impact of this, and the students, go and get your PVC. Go and join that queue. Because we have enough people in the university to change the total outlook of elections in this country. Like if all the students that have been at home for 8 months decide they want to vote, they can choose our president. So it's important that government sees the repercussion of the strike as well. That way everybody knows what's at stake.
Yes. Let me take this call from Agbaje. Good morning, Agbaje. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
All right. I think the federal government is being testy, very testy. What they need to do is this, from my opinion, they should just pay those lecturers so that our students can go back to school. we have kept them at home for so long. We don't know what argument the Speaker of the House was supposed to reach with them and the federal government. But I think at the time we go back to school, I'm very pertinent because that's how I see it. Then from your Twitter review, I don't know if I can add one more thing regarding the last one, the roast fine. The thing is, just last time people work with the voice on the street, Agbero. Yes, because I run a business, I run a logistic business. You will never see that sign. You see a person on you need to go and remove that sign. They work with those boys in the street. Before you know, you have be committed. So I think the best thing, according to what Nima said, is that we should be able to stop this thing. As an official on the road should be able to say, hey, this is why we go back, please. Or should just be going straight forward so that we stop this harassment on the road. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Agbaje. You see, when we're talking about for the greater good, when we're talking about fighting, if you want us to fight for democracy, if you want us to fight for the good, we must be able to see it through. The last said it. I know they know one died. They know I want Baba for house. I'm out for house. We are all worried about me, myself, and I. It goes back to if we're fighting, we must take the long haul fight. Go all out. Yeah. And that's the same thing we must teach even the young people. If we are going to say we're going to protest against something, let us protest regardless of the cost. We must be willing to pay that cost. We must be willing to pay that price. And if our leaders, our lecturers, the people ahead of us are not willing to, are saying after they've done the fighting, hey, go. Yeah, God, please now pay us. That's the thing that we do. If we see that, young people behind us will not fight for any cause. They will continually compromise, don't you think?
I quickly mentioned the Konwa side because, there's handwriting on the wall and everybody can read it. It doesn't even take you to have strong depth to see that there is an active plan to divide ASUU and weaken the power of ASUU by divide and rule. When we create a parallel structure and we empower the parallel structure and we make somebody profit, then there's always a challenge.
Let me take Alhaji Subra and I'll come to you, Nima. Good morning, Alhaji Subra. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say something on this ASUU issue. First of all, you see, the Minister of Labour is not helping the situation. It's compounding the situation right from beginning. True. You understand? But all I know is that you forgot that nothing has beginning that does not have an end. Authority does not continue. Yes. You will live there the one day. You understand? And the history will be there. You understand? Let me first of all appreciate Jabi Amila for going outside his door. A responsibility in intervening for these children. I give kudos to him and I thank you very much. Secondly, I want to appeal to, all parents. We cannot afford our children to come back home. We are tired. We parents, we are tired. If the need be, the Parents Association, if government insists in doing whatever they like, because authority power comes from God. Power belongs to God. If they insist that is the way they are going, we parents in all universities, we should unite ourselves and and support. And support these people financially. We are ready to contribute. We are tired of.
Thank you, Alhaji Subra. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome to the Glow Festival of Joy. It's a celebration like no other, with prizes like no other. 20 new houses to be won, 24 brand new cars, 200 sewing machines, 100 generators, 1,000 rechargeable fans. It's raining Gidigba prizes this season in the Glow Festival of Joy promo. Dial *611# to enter and grab your share of prizes in this celebration of a lifetime. It can only be Glow. Glow Festival of Joy promo. Dial *611# now.
Oh no!
Oh, you're
running low on airtime or data? Then no problem. Introducing Ding, a leading online recharge service and now available in Nigeria. It's simple. When you're out of airtime or data, just ask your friends and family from abroad to send you a recharge with Ding. All you have to do is go to ding.com/request, create a Ding profile, and then share your link with friends and family overseas. They will then know you're running out of credit and they can send you mobile data or credit with Ding in less than 30 seconds. Now available in Nigeria, Ding is a leading online recharge service with the highest rating on Trustpilot, top-level security, and 24 hours customer support. It's an easy and fast way for your phone to receive airtime top-up. Go to ding.com/request to ask for top-up now.
All I do is win. I wake up, I win. I close my eyes, and I win.
We got an emergency, girlfriend.
Keep up with me, come on, let's go. Keep winning till the world stops spinning. Independent women, come on, now let's get in. I'ma keep winning till the world stops.
Wow, you look great. Did you just come from the salon?
Darling Superstar, grades that stay salon fresh no matter what.
Stubborn dark marks? Try new Nivea Lumina 630. Visibly reduces up to 10 years of stubborn dark marks in just 4 weeks. New Nivea Lumina 630. Get even and luminous skin.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this matter of ASUU. Yes, Nima was going to say something.
Yes, I was going to say that, this is the first time that the federal government will issue no work, no pay. The moment ASUU went on this strike and they had the first meeting, you would see government officials staging walkouts. The Minister for Labour even called them names. There was this clash of authority, constituted authority against a civil society fighting for the rights of workers, a labor union. And that kind of ego, ASUU just, federal government just said to ASUU, well, that was the headline, I'm remembering it now. No work, no pay. I'm wondering, I'm now thinking, the Minister for Labour, who is in charge of other labor unions as well, said the same to NMA. Did he do the same half payment salaries to NMA? Is that why NMA called off strike and they just went to rest? Or that there's a personal vendetta against the head of ASUU, what's his name? I can't remember. It's an Shekiri name I'm trying to remember. It's clashing with Omotosho in my head. And, because I remember that particular headline. The mediation, the first one, the video, where the speaker was trying to settle them, where the Minister for Labour was walking out because ASUU was trying to state a point, and he just got up and he just walked away.
Can they try to?
It's not a person. Can you do the same with Nupeng, or is it because it's ASUU? Is there something personal? Is it your family village matter?
Let me take this call. I think I have a call. Can't remember the name. Good morning, are you there? Hassan, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Please, no one is right among two of them. Either ASUU or Federal Government of Nigeria. We must reach a compromise. We are used to one-way traffic in this country. Whenever there is a strike, everybody will be in support of people on strike. On this issue, it is very clear that ASUU wanted to dictate to federal government, and federal government is not taking it. And secondly, on the part of federal government, they are trying to apply divide and rule tactics, which is very, very unfair and uncalled for. Because Nigerian masses and students are the victims here. And if the government is truly the government of the people, they should consider the parents and the students to arrive at a compromise. And with regard to what Dr. is saying, the students should come and organize themselves and vote the government out. It is not right. Because some people are doing something wrong should not warrant people coming together to vote the government out. Yeah. There's something wrong in going on strike. But there's a lot of wrong for government to divide and rule tactics.
Right. And I think many of these employers of government forget that there is a direct correlation between their behavior or what they do to the issue. Yeah, no, to even to the presidency, to the executive.
You cannot say there's a difference between
one thing Buhari can say this, but the person who is executing, if he's using his ego to execute, it's going to affect the presidency. So he said, oh, Buhari is not working. It's the people he has engaged who are obviously egoistic.
When he addressed the issue that Tokwe talked about, that government is a continuum. Exactly. The issues ASUU is fighting did not start with this administration.
Yes.
This administration was well aware there was a whole year's strike before President Buhari became president.
Sure.
He was well aware of the issues that ASUU had with previous administration.
Exactly.
He also came in saying he would do better. And when he came in, ASUU decided that you've continued to extend when you will start to do. We have not seen the issues of the effect of your doing.
Yes.
We are signing memorandums over and over again, and this time we not do again. Before they then went on strike, and rather than call them again in the same way you've called them that there was peace before your election, the Minister for Labour just carry crown on his head. He vexed. He turned himself to Igwe inside Nigeria matter and refused to be a mediator. He forgot his soft skills.
Emotional intelligence.
You know, he lost his emotional intelligence, staging walkouts at every mediation, provoking us to further say, we will die there, at the expense of Nigerian students. This is not the evidence.
I'll come to you, Tokwe, in a minute. Let me take this call. I've been holding for a minute. Good morning, Kelechi from Abuja. You're live.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Well done, good work.
Thank you.
My name is Comrade Kelechi Zeti from Abuja.
Good morning, comrade.
With all sincerity, I want to start on this note. In life, we don't always win all the time. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. And also in life, while hoping for the best, you also prepare for the worst. In this battle between the ASUU and the federal government, who happens to be the two lions, unfortunately, the grass is the student. Now, it's quite conspicuous that the two lions, none want to be seen as the loser here. And now, from the beginning, it was made to understand, or the ASUU made us to believe that they are actually not fighting for their personal interest, but for the interest of the Nigerian students, for the future sake, for the better operation and the facility of the institution. But what is happening now, they are trying to make us to also believe now that they are in turn fighting for their personal interest.
Right.
Now, in as much as I'm not in support of what the Minister of Labour did and the way he started the process, but now that the ASUU is fighting for their payment, who will pay the Nigerian students for what they have lost? It's quite obvious.
Thank you, Kelechi. You know, I hate to sound gender biased. I really do. But I think there are some certain positions that you just need a woman. The Ministry of Labour, Education, Health. Those three ministries, just put women there. Because we have proven to be emotionally intelligent and we love things. We know how to mediate. We know how to we have soft skills. We have relationship management skills. Because many of the male ego just keep flying up and down. And these are crucial ministries. Crucial because people are involved. Education, health, labor.
Amara, quickly please, aside from that, I think we need to begin to insist that if you're going to take up leadership positions in this country, your children will attend our schools. Trust me. If all these ministers and governors had their children in this school, they will not stay at home 8 months. They will not stay at home 8 months. So now that we have realized that the typical human being and the Nigerian person is selfish, we must insist, because that's the only way we can get everything to work. Because as someone who has you have the affluence, you have the money and everything, you will not like your children to stay at home. So you will ensure that the schools that they are in will be properly refurbished and have quality. Yeah. We must begin to insist. And I don't know how we're going to add that in this, coming elections. That those are some of the questions we need to begin to ask.
In addition to that, the government needs to feel immediate impact of these strikes. ASUU is the only one that gets to go to strike for so long. Hope you know that there's an agency called NUPENG. Even NLC does not have mouth when NUPENG is not with them. So when they bring in NUPENG, everything grounds down to a halt. No government, no matter how big your ego is, you will calm down when you are facing NUPENG. Aviation industry wants to go on strike. Everybody knows they want to jet out. They will listen to them. So obviously, we don't value education. There are some people we don't value education because we have options.
You don't. Shut down our. We need to. We feel the Minister for Power called them.
So we don't value our children. We don't feel like those people that are in school should be taken care of. So we abandon them for 8 months. You cannot leave NUPENG for 1 month. You cannot leave aviation industry to be on strike for 1 month. There are industries. Of course, everything in life is not equal. But you have your priority. We see what your priority is.
Where your priority is. Don't finish talk.
You don't finish. That is it. Let us take this call. Good morning, Pastor. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm with you.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Thank you so much, man. I'm the first caller.
First caller or first time caller? Go ahead.
Thank you for the good work you are doing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I want to keep in this ASUU issue and government. I want us to know that, what your colleague just said, if all these our politicians, their children are in this school, all these things will not happen. And I don't want us to see ASUU as wicked, because this issue has been lingering for a long time. And ASUU is trying to put permanent solution, bring permanent solution to this issue. Because if they just become, simple about it, it will continue like that.
Pastor, are you there? Pastor, hear me out. I want us to really have a good conversation. Where we are today, the strike has been called off. Lecturers have gone back to the classrooms. The issue today is not what federal government wants to do or not to do. The issue today is that the salaries that were not paid in the past 8 months, why is federal government not paying it? Do you think the federal government should pay it, or do you think ASUU should accept it as a loss for that period?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Which?
It's okay. My stand. Hello?
Yes.
My stand is, I ask that the federal government should pay the salary.
Okay.
You pay them the money.
Oh, I wanted to engage him. He just lost that call. Sorry about that. So he wants the salary. But that's fine. Let's take a few comments on social media before we run off.
Rolake O says, she says, sorry,
okay, while you're looking for it, Adedotu says, their children are still in school abroad and they keep putting it in our faces when their children graduate. They are just not concerned. That's the leaders. Olajidi says, Ngige has doctors amongst his children. He still showed Doctors Pepe when they were on strike. Go ahead.
But he paid them full salary. Rolake says, the reason why ASUU went on strike was because government never fulfilled its agreement. I knew the government was being deceptive, but our parents are so gullible to believe in their lies. A government that came in with a manifesto that never manifested and made Nigerians more impoverished. William Solajumoke says, if all parties involved should count their losses, some students lived off campus and 1 year rent has been wasted now. What about the food and provision left behind by students that are now spoiled? Life itself is a sacrifice. Everyone should move on for the greater good. UNISA says, it's a very simple scenario. If the federal government do not have the intention to pay the backlog of salaries, then schools should cancel work for previous sessions and not force lecturers to do the work not paid for.
They are not forcing, they can move it.
Khalid Showemimo says, please let the government do the needful. They do it as if Nigeria is their business, Abi is their money. ASUU are fighting the right cause. These governments are intentional to destroy educational system, and it's a demarketing.
So this issue of their students are not in school. Okay, so if for example now if your child is actually, if you're a private person,
yeah,
and your children, maybe your first child is in the first year university abroad,
yeah,
by the time she's going to second year, you decide to go into politics because you want to solve Nigeria's problem.
Yes.
You now win the election.
Yes.
Is the government saying, are you saying as Nigerian people that, okay, now my child that that's only in year 2 in Cambridge,
do transfer
come back to Nigeria?
Federal University, yes. Do transfer.
Is that fair,
You decided, listen.
Is that fair on me? That I won't then.
Leadership is about service. Now, one of the reasons people will fight, kill, tooth and nail to get into leadership is because there are so many perks and nobody's holding you accountable if you don't do anything. Some leaders have their houses abroad. They come here, they serve, and then they jet out. They are not living here. They do not feel the pains of the people. So we are saying, we have realized that human beings are naturally selfish. Until we get to that that place where everybody can be treated equally. There are some things we must put in place. If you choose to serve, they're not force you. There are many people waiting to serve. They don't have money to buy tickets. Yes, you must be willing to serve properly. So come down from that your high horse, serve the people, do what you can do. When you retire or you leave office in 4 years or 8 years, you can go back to your status. Nobody's arguing with you.
Add that.
Please.
Instead of you to remove your child, can we put a requirement that if your child once goes abroad, you cannot qualify for public office?
That's another.
Because we don't want to put you inside hardship.
We are not. We don't implement our rules.
We don't implement it because we have a rule that you can't have two citizenship.
Yes.
Outside. And most of them have
3, 4.
Can we implement what we have?
Yeah, exactly.
And there's this tweet that captures this situation very well. Prince Austin Orji says, Ngige's attitude to the whole strike saga is not helping at all. He is so arrogant. Where is the education minister in all this talk? That is what you get when you make a medical doctor a labor minister. Can you make somebody who is has a degree in conflict and whatever resolutions, or some diplomatic courses where someone has as a minister for labor who will be mediating and
children are in Nigerian universities, and that's where it goes with. I don't know. Because
school is private.
Private is different now. They're not on strike.
Wait.
The person that sent that message.
Wait now. Listen. My point is that let us not make general statements that we're not sure. There's a possibility. Me, I know, for example, I know one person that all his children schooled here, and he's a public servant.
Okay. Glue is your friend. Glue.
Yes.
Wait, it's not Google. Glue is your friend. All the convocations that happened
that they're showing us,
that we saw the pictures that we were shouting on this table. Stop posting pictures. We
saw it now.
All the convocations that happened that ripened on our
faces. Let's not make a blanket statement that all of them have their children abroad. Some of them might have their children.
They have it abroad.
Let's not make an assumption.
If I was in that position and my children are abroad, I would do. If people don't want to go back to school, don't go back to school now because it's not affecting me personally. See, we need to get to a point where everything that happens in the country affects the leaders personally. That's how they feel the pain. When Minister Fashola was in government, he would deliberately come down and take buses just to see how it is. That is leadership. That's true leadership.
You cannot
understand it. You just sit on the table, pass policies that are not working for the normal people because you're not there. You don't have houses here, so you don't feel NEPA. You have everything. You don't feel the pains
let me
of the
give
people.
an example.
You don't use medical facilities here because you have options. People are dying. There's no oxygen.
Let me bring it home.
Former governor of Anambra State retired from office
that night,
and he was arrested at the airport. After they released him on bail, he did Christmas in the US and put pictures online. So you cannot have a backup plan and this country
it won't work.
So the conversation.
Let me bring it home. Because it's always good for you to say, they have a brother.
Bring us.
Some of you in this Nigeria, you were born and raised in a certain community. Okay. You have small change. You go and buy a house in Lekki.
Yes.
You have a house in Lekki. Now, because you grew up in this small village, or because you feel the sense of responsibility to help and support, and now you come back to that place, and they don't want to accept you and say, oh, because you already built a house, you're not one of us. You can't understand, you can't relate, because you already have a house in Lekki, you're not in this community anymore. And you say, no, I am in Nigeria, I am from this community, I was born here, I'm raised, I can bring my experience, and I can help the community. They say, no. You cannot become a leader. We don't even want you at all because you have moved to this area. That's what we are saying.
They don't say no.
We are saying
you can serve, but you can't lead.
So we're saying now you should leave your Lekki house and come and live in the village.
How would you feel their pain? This thing happens. I remember I grew up in Amuwodo.
I wanted to say
inside our local government.
I have to bring in a different angle.
Our local government, somebody campaigned, became councillor. As he became councillor, Bam,
you go
gather
build
money.
transport.
He has left the
and then he was still representing you.
And he still represented us.
So that when they take light, he will now call him and tell him.
So I feel that it is important that you must feel
the pains of the people.
And we have several laws that protect us. The government is quick to enforce the industrial law of no work, no pay. But are we enforcing the fact that the average politician in Nigeria has other passports for other countries, and most of their children have other options.
Every their children matter.
They have options.
No, the same thing now.
I want
this country now for the next generation. Now,
I tell people all the time. I say Nigeria must not scatter. Where will my children go? Where will
it's not about us.
I said so. It's not just about me. I have parents. My husband's parents are also here. The effect is wide. So your decisions are. It's not about you. The leader will not make a decision based on themselves. The reason so many people are relocating abroad and saying, because of my children, I want them to have better education. I want to have better access to healthcare. So it is all for your children, yourself. Our politicians to also think about it. The fact that everybody in your family, the situation is at they have things at stake if they are here, and it's not affecting them. That's the reality. If they cough. Our president's son, as he had an God forbid anything, he was gone, taken to Germany. Governors will have accidents. The president is taking his medical record is in the UK. So what are we saying?
See how COVID exposed us. So COVID.
Many politicians died now.
COVID exposed us. The time that there was lockdown, that nobody could check out.
Yes,
you not see how many people that died.
No option. Honorable member representing Amu Odofin was coming to see us landlocked with tankers. He went to Ikoyi to carry a boat to Jetty.
He first went to Ikoyi.
That's what we are saying. He came through boats. In the community that your people are suffering every day, you cannot represent a people and you are not among them.
You are not there.
They cannot be reporting for you every day. Hello, guys. Honorable sir. Tanker are falling down. Honorable sir, we are suffering this. Honorable sir, when you are in your house watching AC, you be like, these people, their focus is beginning to stress me. Put it on proper silent phone.
So I think we're getting somewhere with this conversation because the truth is that I think that also goes back to the heart of Nigerians. You know, if you're going to become a leader, where are your businesses? Many of our leaders are trying to become leaders. Many of them, their businesses are outside. Many of them own
dollarizing
in fact, they are the ones looking for dollars.
They spend dollars in Nigeria. You meet them. When they are tipping people, when they are giving people money, it's dollars. They don't have naira in their pockets because the kind of money they want to give you is bulky. They say, I don't want to carry big money, so I give dollars.
That's news that false news that came from the US, that US wants to start.
I
hope we're all like, I hope it's true. When the US government can say, okay, for a certain dollar for a certain date is no longer valid, but we hear it's false. If peradventure they do that thing is true,
but people they are benefiting.
But the truth is that many people will bring out their dollars.
Yes,
money will flow.
People will just start bringing out their dollars and going to the banks. Then we can begin to trace. But unfortunately, it's false story. But you see, there are some drastic measures that must be taken if this country must be moved forward. And that's what we have said on this table. That if you are going to lead, you must be from us.
Yes.
You must be from us.
Be among us.
You must be in love with us.
Yes, and
you must be so in love with us that you want a better. You must be able to pinch your leg when the other person is rolling on the floor. The Prophet ﷺ said that it's almost sinful when you put the right of the neighbor, that your neighbor goes to bed hungry and you had a full plate of food that you still put away in the morning. It's a lesson of my religion. So the way we live here, we don't see the neighbor.
We sleep well. Focus on only the leaders. We do these things you're saying. Across from top all the way to the bottom.
Many people are doing it. So
people listen. Yes, I don't want to. It's always easy to have a conversation and say it's from top bottom.
But it's from top bottom.
No, not all the time.
No,
fine. Listen, BC. Let me finish. We can say top bottom for maybe 1999 when we entered democracy. After the military left, when we started seeing changes and people that started taking money here and there, we can see that. But they said that Yoruba says that if you know better. And you should be able to do better. If you do better, if I do better, wouldn't Nigeria change? You still wait for the leader to do better before we start changing.
Okay, so what can we now on this stage do to make ASUU change and go back to school?
ASUU? No, ASUU is not our own direct responsibility. The one that is your responsibility, what are you doing?
No, so we started this conversation from a problem. We are saying to solve this problem, the leaders need to be accountable to solve
in their own jurisdiction. You as a Nigerian citizen, your own jurisdiction, what have you done?
I'm doing it.
Forget about you now. Be talking about the Nigerian.
What Nigerians are doing.
Everybody's doing.
Nigerians are opening roads. Nigerians are buying their own transformers, putting their own roads and interlocking their own blocks. Only for local government that refuse to access them for that development.
Okay, what of the Nigerian?
Access them for the taxes.
What of the Nigerian?
It's not fair.
What of the Nigerian that the federal government put rails on the tracks
and they go and steal it?
And go and say, what of that Nigeria? What happens? So the point is that we are all doing it. One of the teacher who is cheating for his child so that he can have a heavy strength. So we are all doing something within our own small jurisdictions. And the moment we start fixing our individual problems, then when you I'm almost done now. When you remove your own log that you are doing, you can see clearly what your local government chairman is doing. When all of you are already in the dirt, if your local chairman is stealing, you are just putting an opportunity. When I get there, I'll do my own. So you are all as dirty as him.
Yeah. So when we have systems,
on this table, I have confirmed that my community, they would not pay for waste carrying. They don't pay for waste management. They don't understand it. We've seen it. I have tested it. I have seen people do it. Tie their waste and find the place to dump it. But then, I cannot come and sit here and say that community was developed by any local government anywhere. I dare the local government person to show up. Administrations passed. Come and tell me how you developed that place. I've lived there 14 years. I see how even this period of transportation, after they destroyed the road that we did last year, the community, I have the WhatsApp messages of every house being taxed, money to come and pour something on the road again. And the local government was aware that diversion happened within their local governments. That was the alternative everybody was using. The government show up and say, oh, we've seen about this thing, but let taxes time come. They will knock on your door and be gumming the taxes. If you can access those houses for revenue, you can access those houses for development. Exactly. Why would you not do the same?
So from the wrap up, let me quickly just say, So we must always look forward. You're meant to look up, not look down. So the people in the bottom will look up to leadership. What examples are they getting from leadership? So if you want correction that we go around, there's little we as individuals can do for the whole, for collective. So it's the people at the top who will put in the systems, correct it, that when you are messing up from bottom, the systems will handle you till we clean out those other people and everybody will adjust. We cannot sit down here and say, I want to be the first to do. It's okay that we are doing. It's okay that people are doing. Those people who go and steal the rail, and they sell them, most of them are not educated. They are not educated. Most of them are living below $1 a day. So their problem is even different, that we need to start reorienting and encouraging and educating them.
Wrap up. What you're saying about the system, that man who is stealing from the train tracks, if there was a camera by government to monitor and check the roads and there's lights, they will catch him. And that's the system. He might not. So the system will fix it. Everybody can go crazy. I get the point. Yes.
And also, if the modeling from the top shows us that criminality doesn't pay, if we see our leaders that they didn't just become rich overnight or things just life didn't just become soft for them because they became politicians, then we understand that I'm on my journey. Even the politician self is also entering the same portal with me. But we see that their own life becomes better. So the average person too is now wondering, whatever I can do to make my life better. I would like to finalize with this last comment from Tom Polo when he was talking about the bunkering, oil bunkering in pipeline. He said, they kill my people. We steal like a cup of oil. My people are stealing a cup. He said, it is the big men. Nobody can steal without being sorting out military, sorting out navy, because they are stealing with vessels. He said, but what do? They send people and vandalize and kill my people for stealing a cup. What many of our leaders are doing is pointing fingers at those stealing a cup. And people steal a cup will say, I will steal a cup. You are stealing gallon.
Bags, yes.
So when you stop stealing gallon, the person stealing cup will stop stealing cup.
I think we've had a good conversation, because it's always important to bring out different perspectives of this kind of conversation. And it's good to know that, yes, we want the people to change. Because I always say, with the people, what are you doing? But the truth is that you have to show leadership by example. People must see. So imagine if our president is not feeling well and there's a Nigerian doctor attending to him, Nigerians will feel, maybe something's going to happen. So these are those little things. It's not, the big things are great. And I think government always forgets. The big policies, the anchor borrowers, they did that. Those are great things. But it's those soft things that you do that Nigerians observe and say, yes, they're all purchasing innocent. Fantastic. Okay, maybe this country is really changing for the better. It's when we do those things that Nigerians really to believe. And when they believe, they know that you're working in their interest. And then it's easy for you to campaign.
Yeah.
True. See you tomorrow.
Are we done? We're not done.
We're not done.
We have one more.
We have health. We have health.
Right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
but the real fun starts. Thanks for staying with us. Join us to discuss notable series of infections affecting men, women, and children. Is an infectious disease physician, head of infectious disease unit, Department of Medicine, Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Idiaraba, Lagos, Dr. Lauren Akase. Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. So when we hear of infections, one of the things, especially family members, think is we're just trying to use as many antibiotics as possible, you know. And we have friends abroad that say, don't use antibiotics for your children, no, you know. So there's always that debate of should we or should we not. So let me start with what kinds of infectious diseases are out there, and do you encourage the use of antibiotics?
Okay, so I think that's a very good question. It's something we face all the time in terms of people putting pressure that they need antibiotics. So first, to understand what causes infections. Infections are caused by living organisms, microorganisms in most cases, and there are different types. You have bacteria, which are the ones that antibiotics respond to. And then you have viruses that don't respond to antibiotics. You may also have fungi, which also don't respond to antibiotics. They have their different medications, you need to do that. So, and parasites as well, and so on and so forth. So generally speaking, before you want to use an antibiotic, you want to be sure, make a diagnosis that this is a bacteria causing this infection. But if it's not a bacteria and you go start giving antibiotics, what they're doing is you are not treating infection, and then you're exposing children and even adults to antibiotics unnecessarily, which again has its own big issue, you know. So first and foremost, is to understand what is causing the infection. It may be a bacteria, it may not be a bacteria, and if that's the case, you are going to be treating, all wrong, So that's just a brief of that.
Yeah. So sometimes we just see kids throwing up. They're not running any form of fever, but then they complain of stomach ache.
Yeah.
And then when you go to the hospital, it's not malaria, it's not typhoid, and we hear infection. And most of the time, we don't get to hear the name of the exact infection. Yes, so I just hear infection. They will treat you and say infection. So explain to us, especially when it comes to stomach issues for children, what sort of infection could that be?
Okay, yeah, so, it's actually not right for a doctor to just tell someone infection, and leave it at that. People need to understand exactly, and that's why sometimes communication, in the practice of medicine, communication is central. You need to carry your patients along and their relations as well, so they understand exactly what you are dealing with. So in children, for example, when it comes to stomach issues, the commonest organisms are viruses. Rotavirus is one, and others as well. So, and these don't respond to antibiotics. So if a doctor is seeing your child, and as a doctor, you want to look out for that signs of infection, quite all right. You need to look out for them, both in history taking, we ask questions and then examine the child and take samples for lab testing. It is when you put all of this together that you can make a diagnosis. So sometimes you need to communicate clearly, whether you're thinking of a bacterial infection, whether you're thinking of a viral infection, or you're thinking of a parasitic infection or a fungi. So parents understand exactly why you feel they need antibiotics or why you feel they don't need antibiotics. And in some cases, it's parents that people under pressure, put doctors under pressure. Oh, you are not giving antibiotics, you need to give an antibiotic. So, but I feel that if the communication is good, everybody understands what exactly the doctor is treating, and then everybody's carried along.
Right. So cold, like all of us here are parents. So children and cold seem like a norm. There's a season when everybody is this sneezing, coughing, sore throat, and I always feel like Nigerians are too quick to giving antibiotics. So I wait it out. Like these things would go by itself. I would like you to help us clarify the right approach towards this. When you notice those symptoms, what should be the first response? Should we just say go and get amoxil or go and get erythromycin something? You know, all of us now are pharmacists because we know all the drugs. Please advise.
Okay, so first things first, cold, like you said, we call them upper respiratory tract infections, which are, 98 to 99% of the times viral in nature. So antibiotics will not treat that. Let's get that out of the way. Of course, there are rare instances where you have a bacterial infection that, gets superimposed on top of, a viral infection. But the doctors are trained to be able to recognize when this happens, and that is when they are going to give antibiotics. But in the early stages, just having a running nose, a headache, eye pain and all of that, what people really need to do is to treat supportively, make sure the child is warm, give them lots of warm fluids, let them rest in bed, treat symptoms. We call them symptomatic treatment. And almost, they're going to, improve and do well on that. Even when it comes to adults. Now, there are algorithms or ways of thinking. Of course, not all upper respiratory tract, not all respiratory infections are eventually viruses. You have to think of tuberculosis, you have to think of pneumonia. All these are possibilities. But the doctor is trained to be able to recognize when any of this is a possibility and investigate accordingly. But even children, that can be a possibility. But again, that is why, straitjacket statements do not always fly. But for all intents and purposes, somebody is having upper respiratory tract infections, antibiotics are not the way to go. In fact, they do more harm than good.
Really?
When, that happens. And we've seen that.
Interesting.
Yeah, we've seen that repeatedly.
Let me let Nima come here.
I had my child, my daughter at the time, it was later said she had pneumonia, but the exhibiting symptoms were sort of slow. In just a little temperature in the beginning, and then later on it develops and manifests to a higher temperature. And sometimes they don't have catarrh, they have dry nose, they look, other symptoms don't appear. When exactly should a mother start to worry? Because if you can give paracetamol and temperature can come down, you really have nothing to fear. But when exactly and how fast should you start running when a child starts to exhibit some of these things, maybe weakness and a bit of temperature? What exactly should be the sign that something serious is happening?
Okay, so when it comes to respiratory tract infections, usually we divide them into the upper respiratory tract infections and lower respiratory tract infections. So the upper respiratory tract infections are your running nose, your sneezing, and then, some body aches, fever, headache, and all of that. You know that this is upper respiratory tract infections. They are usually viral in nature. You give a paracetamol and your child is able to eat and is running around, able to, go about their responsibilities. That's fine. You can monitor, and see. You should give them lots of fluids. But when the infection is showing that it's in the lower respiratory tract, they're having cough with chest pain, they're having, breathing fast, they're having, difficulty with breathing, and, they're becoming weak, unable to eat, and, crying too much and all of that for children who are younger than that, then clearly you have to take that child to hospital because lower respiratory tract infections may be bacterial. That is what it's called. That is what pneumonia belongs to. Pneumonia refers to infections that affect the lungs directly, not the nose or, the throat and all of that. Throat and nose are upper, the lungs are lower. So
it has to exhibit with all that you have said. But when it's only exhibiting with just a temperature and the child is weak, but the child is eating well and every other thing.
So if the child is weak,
until last minute.
No, so weakness in a child is significant. If the child is able to eat and drink well, then you monitor, for 24 hours, so long as it's eating and drinking well. But when the child weakness is affecting their feeding, they are not able to take enough, and they're becoming, weaker and persisting more than 24 hours, you have to take them to hospital because that's a sign of weakness shows that the body is struggling with something, So they need to do tests, they need to look at their electrolytes. You need to take blood and check what else is happening there and so on and so forth. The infections, it may not just be the infection, it may be that, the kidney struggling with something, the liver is struggling with something. All these are things that can happen when infected. So when body weakness is becoming protracted, and especially when they are unable to now eat well, or vomiting, they are vomiting. Again, that's something that you need to take to hospital. When a child is vomiting and there's somebody to down their food, keep down their drugs, clearly, a doctor needs to see, to see what.
Doctor, I'd like us to go down a bit to the basics because we have grandmas and mothers, and they have their own way of treating wounds. So, for example, something as basic as a cut. A child has a cut, and grandma wants to put Vaseline, or they just want to Ori, or so certain things. There's some myths or something that we might need to dispel at this point. Where, when you have a cut, when a child has a cut, what's the immediate first aid for a parent to know? I mean, as basic as it sounds, many parents don't know it. They just put Ori over it, and they're done.
Okay, so cuts usually, there are two ways to look at this. One, it is how big or deep the cut is. And secondly, also, how well immunized the child is. So, for example, a child, first thing a parent needs to know is, okay, this child has a cut. Is he up to date with his tetanus vaccines and all of that? Then, okay, fine. His tetanus vaccinations are current, so I'm not concerned about tetanus coming on board. So that's the first step. The second step is, okay, how deep is this cut? If it's just a scratch, the parent just needs to clean the wound, okay, and clean the wound with people have TCP at home, or and all of that. Just clean it, and leave it open. But if it's a deep wound that is exposing, you are seeing skin is hanging, you are seeing some meat under there, then clearly that needs to either be sutured or at least dressed and covered up. Because if it's the deeper it is, the more
but does Ori and Vaseline work? For those nice does Ori and Vaseline work, doctor?
No, so Vaseline usually is not advised for to put Vaseline on an open wound because number one, that wound is not sterile. So once you close it with Vaseline, you are blocking whatever organism is in there and locking it inside. Okay, so Vaseline is not for open wounds. Really, it's with a place. It's not for open wounds. You just clean it and leave it open. Maybe it's deep, then it needs to be dressed with other dressing material, like there are dressing materials which doctors will advise. But generally, so usually if your wound is just superficial and just a scratch, clean with spirit or TCP and leave it open. If it's deeper than that, you need to take the child to the hospital.
Okay,
right. Please, I just. On a production set that my makeup outfit was working on, they lost one of the cameramen due to tetanus. And, it just never occurred to me until you mentioned it again now that open wounds, I want you to just give us more information regarding it. So what is the tetanus, what's the range, the time range for taking each tetanus injection? And does it affect children as well? Could children get tetanus injection from open wounds? And please just give us a bit more information about it. And I hear that tetanus only comes if your wound was inflicted by a metal object. Is that true or a myth?
Okay, so that's a lot of points in the question you raised. So first, the tetanus can affect everyone. Even from a child who was just born today, all the way to an elderly person. Tetanus does not respect age. So that's the first point. Secondly, the proper vaccine regimen for tetanus is to get receive 3 doses. Usually, and how you know this happens is for a child within the first 1 year, they vaccinate them 1, 2, 3. That's a DPT. They give them 3 doses, and also. So after that, that's primary vaccination sequence. So after that, every 5 years, everyone is supposed to have what is called a booster dose. Within every 5 years, they should have a booster dose. So if somebody has stayed up to 5 years without being vaccinated with tetanus, know that his vaccine is not fully vaccinated, or rather his booster, he needs a booster. In that situation. And it doesn't matter the size of the wound. A pin drop or an accident, tetanus, can enter into that. So yes, even though it's commoner with rusty metals and dirty places, dung, or that feces, places that are dirty, tetanus thrives in dirty environments. However, it's important to know that they can also be spread by air. Spores can be spread by the spores can be carried onto an open wound. So once you have an open wound, yes, the cleaner it is, the less likely tetanus will enter, but it doesn't rule it out. So that is why Whatever the wound, in fact, most times when people come with tetanus in hospital, the wound itself has healed maybe weeks ago, but the spore has already entered, and now because they're not fully vaccinated, they now come down with tetanus. So the primary issue here is to get everybody fully vaccinated against, tetanus, no matter the, and that is why if you see when women go for antenatal, they make sure that they use the opportunity to vaccinate them, against tetanus.
Thank you,
because,
doctor.
They protect them and the child that is going to be born.
Okay, doctor, so not everybody would notice anything in their child and quickly take them to the hospital. Not everybody has that means. So give us like examples of some things that should be at home, maybe like a first aid kit when you notice any form of infection, what you can do first before you find your way to the doctor.
Okay, so usually the signs, many mothers know the signs of infection would be a fever, body aches, joint pains, either vomiting or some, mild running nose or a mild cough here and there. Mothers know when children are having some fever. So what you need to do first is to control. You don't want that fever to be too high. You want to do what is called tepid sponging. You put a cloth in just room temperature water and clean the baby down to make sure the fever is not that high. Paracetamol can also do this, but you know that this is just like cutting off the leaves. The tree is still there. Whatever is causing the infection, is still there. Now, the other thing you want to do is, if, for example, there is a wound, you want to do some basic cleaning, clean that up. If it's not too deep, do a plaster on it. After cleaning, and everybody. If it's deep, like I said, meat is showing, then you take that child, to the hospital. Then, of course, make sure the child is taking lots of fluids. So, for mothers who have babies that are prone to infections, their doctors will advise them and give them a specific type of antibiotics they can keep at home. Okay. So that because they know that this child is prone to this and this type of infection, so they will give them, okay, you can give this when this infection starts before you bring to hospital. Okay. Now, I know that this concept of malaria and typhoid, which is something that people say, I have malaria and typhoid, is something that has caused a lot of abuse of both anti-malarials and antibiotics in the community. So it's not advised. Now, current guidelines don't advise you to just start anti-malaria in the children without a test being done.
Right. We have to wrap up.
This is because most of the so-called thing we think is malaria is not malaria. Yes. So
much,
that
Doctor.
would be a guide for most mothers. Yeah.
We've been speaking with the head of infectious disease unit, Department of Medicine, Louth, Dr. Akase. Thank you so much for joining us this morning to share with us about infectious diseases. That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.